I'm not telling you my name or what I do for a living. None of that matters. What matters is what happened to me 2 nights ago. I'll stick to the parts that touch the horror itself. I live with my daughter. We're not rich, but we get by. My husband drank badly, and that's how he left this world. Not long ago either. This story is about him. Or maybe not exactly about him. We were a normal, average family until we weren't. After his mother died, my husband started drinking heavier. I never figured out why it flipped that switch, but that's when it all began. Maybe it ties into what happened to me. I don't know. One thing at a time. My daughter Maya, 8 years old, was doing homework the night this started. I came home from work, bone-tired, reheated yesterday's soup, and scarfed it down. A few minutes later, a knock at the door. We weren't expecting anyone. It was around 8 p.m. Could have been a neighbor, I thought. I checked the peephole. Empty hallway. The old fixture out there was flickering like always, the kind no one's bothered to replace in years. Great. This building again. I was in a foul mood. Teenagers messing around, I muttered, and went to the living room to watch TV. I hadn't even picked up the remote when the knocking came again. Peephole. No one. I opened the door and looked up and down the hall. Nothing. "What is this?" I said out loud. I wasn't imagining it. I'd heard it. I lay down on the couch and tried to lose myself in some show, the only thing that takes me out of this gray little life. 15 minutes later, another knock. "Who even has time for this?" I called. "Maya, go check who's at the door." She walked in with a puzzled face. "Mom, no one's knocking." Right. I've been working doubles too long. My head's playing tricks. I hugged her, tucked a blanket around her, and we watched together. An hour later, sleep won. I put Maya in my bed, told her a short story, and lay down beside her. Sleep didn't last. A door slammed loud like someone came in or left. For half a second, my brain went on autopilot. Mark's home. Then I sat up. Mark is dead. So who slammed the door? I threw on a robe and went to the entryway. The apartment door was open. I know I'd locked it. Deadbolt and latch. Now it wasn't just unlocked. It was wide open. Fear crept in like 1,000 pins under my skin. I locked up again, put Maya back to sleep, and lay down beside her. I didn't sleep after that. I'm not superstitious. I don't believe in spirits or demons or any of it. But this was, at the very least, strange. Near morning, around 7, I finally drifted off. It was Saturday. No school for Maya, no work for me. I still woke early. I'd slept maybe 2 hours and felt like I'd hauled freight all night. I didn't want to get up and I didn't want to sleep. That empty, heavy feeling. I dragged myself to the kitchen. The first thing I saw was a mug in the center of the table. That wouldn't mean anything, except it was Mark's mug. I'd thrown out all his stuff, everything. Not to be cruel, to be able to live again. So how was his mug back here? My skin crawled. I lit a cigarette with shaking hands, sat down, and stared at the cup while my mind ran in useless circles. The ash burned down and bit my finger. And that snapped me out of it. I remembered why I'd come in. Breakfast. I dropped the mug in the trash and cooked. The day faded into chores. Laundry, dishes, wiping, sorting. By dinner, the whole mug thing had slipped my mind. The fatigue didn't, but I pinned it on housework. Maya came in from the playground. We ate, I gave her my phone to watch some YouTube, and I crashed on the couch. It was around 8 or 9. I dozed for an hour, maybe a little more. Woke up dying of thirst and shuffled to the kitchen. Maya was still glued to the screen. I filled a mug with water, took a couple sips, and realized I was holding that same mug. "What is going on?" I whispered. "I threw you out." The thought pressed in. Either something is wrong with this apartment, or something is wrong with me. I set the mug on the table, put Maya to bed, and went to my room. My head was a mess. First the door, now the mug, and that strange, bone-deep tiredness. Maybe I was getting sick, but I'd checked my temperature normal. Somehow, I fell asleep. I slept surprisingly well, and nothing happened overnight. It started in the morning. The front door stood open again. And something else. My late husband's things were appearing in the apartment. His sneakers were on the shoe rack. His jacket hung in the closet. The mug sat on the counter, like it had always lived there. Is this someone's idea of a joke? Because it wasn't funny. That evening, Maya spiked a fever. She went pale and wouldn't eat. The apartment felt wrong. Her temperature hit 102. 2 degrees. I called an ambulance, and we went to the hospital. I spent the night there. In the morning, I headed home to cook something decent for her. Hospital food doesn't count. On the way, I passed a small neighborhood church, and the thought came, go in. I don't believe in that stuff, but with everything lately. I went inside. I spoke to the priest and told him what was happening. We agreed he'd come by tomorrow to bless the apartment. I left our address and walked home calmer than I'd felt in days. Inside, nothing looked out of place. The exhaustion was still there, though. It came and went, but never left. And it got worse when I was in the apartment. Another note from my growing list. And I had a bad feeling about the night ahead. No reason, just a feeling. I forced myself to make something for Maya, got dressed, and headed out. My downstairs neighbor, Mrs. Ellison, a sweet older woman, was standing by the entry. "Sweetie, come here," she said. "Let me tell you something." "Hi, Mrs. Ellison. What's up?" "I'm old, and sleep doesn't come easy. Could you please stop running around at night? I know you've got a kid and all, but the ceiling is thin. I can hear everything." "What do you mean?" "No one's running at night. People sleep at night. And Maya's in the hospital. And I guess no one's been slamming doors either," she said, with a look like she knew more than she wanted to say. I turned and left without another word. So it's real. I'm not imagining it. She heard it too. Then who's doing the running? We were in the hospital last night. I walked faster to see my daughter. The doctor met me with a smile. "She's fine," he said. "Totally healthy. You can take her home." My heart lifted. Maya ran out and hugged me, and 30 minutes later, we were on our way back to the apartment. As our building came into view, my head filled again with talk of unclean things, and worse. I remembered the neighbor's words and veered back to the church. The priest was just about to leave, but I begged him to come now, not tomorrow. The bad feeling got heavier with every step toward home. Why not stay somewhere else, you might ask? Where? It's just me and my daughter. We have no one. He agreed. The 3 of us climbed the stairs. The moment we walked into the apartment, his face changed. He took out his kit fast, prayed, sprinkled holy water, and left even faster. His last words were, "Move out. Something dark has settled here, and it won't leave easily. You think your late husband is visiting? He's not. Something else is. It feeds on fear, on your life itself. I've done what I can. I hope it helps." I shut the door and drifted to the kitchen, lit a cigarette, and held my head. What was that? Evil? Settled where? Then it clicked. He said it feeds on fear and on life. That explains the weakness, the exhaustion. And my biggest fear is tied to Mark thinking about him. That's when his things started showing up. Go where, though? We had no money, nowhere to run. Outside it was dropping below freezing, and Maya had only just gotten over being sick. We'd have to spend the night here. I fed Maya, tucked her in, showered, pulled out the sofa, and laid down. My eyes shut the second my head hit the pillow. Around 2 a.m., I had the worst fright of my 35 years. Maya woke me on her way to the bathroom. "Mom," she whispered, "who's sleeping with you?" Sleep vanished. I felt it then. Someone lying beside me. My whole body shook. In the mirror on the nightstand, I saw it. A figure. Human features. But the skin was too pale, almost white. The eyes and mouth were pits, deep and black. It was wrapped in my blanket, on my bed. Panic washed over me. I slid off the mattress, slow and quiet. It didn't move. I got dressed Maya, and we slipped out of the apartment. Maybe it didn't notice. Maybe it wanted us to go. I don't know. I was trembling. Maya was crying. We reached the street and I looked up. From our kitchen window, the thing stared down at me, right into my eyes. I went to Mrs. Ellison's door and knocked for 10 minutes straight. She finally opened, sleepy and worried, and let us in. I told her everything. She's a believer, so she didn't argue. "Stay here for now," she said. I decided then, sell the place. I don't care what it was. I was done. Life at Mrs. Ellison's steadied. Maya went back to school. I went back to work. Things were fine. Until one night, I heard a knock at the front door, followed by a heavy slam.